All right, folks, welcome back to the channel here for the doubles disc review, where I will act as the amateur, and my buddy here, Matt Gibbons, a local pro, 980-ish rated, won a few events here at the end of the year, is going to be serving as our pro. That way you can see what the disc will do for you, no matter what your arm speed is. Also, go give Mac a follow here. He puts out some great content on Instagram, his own YouTube channel, and he also gives lessons. So if you are living in the Mobile, Alabama area, or you don't mind traveling, this guy can hook you up with some lessons for a good price. He's helped me out quite a lot, and so I definitely want to shout him out for that as well. But before we get any further, first we need to shout out our partner who helps make these reviews possible.
I'm sure you're surprised a pharmacy sponsored this video, but Saraland Pharmacy is actually the best disc golf store in southern Alabama. They carry a wide variety of discs from all the top manufacturers, including Innova, Disccraft, Discmania, and all the Trilogy brands, as well as MVP and Axiom. They also carry plenty of plastic from lesser-known brands, such as Lone Star Disc and Thought Space Athletics. Their pricing is fantastic. And speaking of pricing, they have a very robust used disc section where you can get some lightly used plastic for a fantastic price, and you can also pick up various disc golf equipment that'll help you along the way. So if you're in Mobile County or any of the surrounding areas, or heck, even if you're on the Eastern Shore, definitely pass on by the Saraland Pharmacy, as they have a wide variety of equipment that I'm sure you'll love. It's definitely worth the trip. You certainly won't regret it.
All right, Max, so what are we looking to review this time around?
So we're going to be looking at the new Zen 2 Essence from Discmania. It is an 8.6 -2.1. So a kind of workable fairway driver that you can, put on really any line you want. Flip ups, turnovers, even rollers. I used to throw Essences for rollers. So really anything. It's just a workable fairway you can have in your bag.
Yeah, so I actually have a lot of experience with the Essence because I used to bag a Neo Essence, and I also have thrown the Zen 1. And the regular Neo Essence tends to be a pretty understable fairway driver. It tends to be nice for some hyzer flip shots, maybe some slight turnovers, or as Max said, a lot of higher arm speed players will actually use it as a backhand roller disc. However, just like the Zen 1, the Zen 2 and this Meta plastic actually makes it a little bit more stable. So it's a little bit more workable, as he was saying. It's not quite as super understable. It has a little bit of a straighter flight. It's definitely still gonna have some flip up. Even for lower arm speeds, you're probably gonna get at least a slight bit of flip, but it's gonna straighten out pretty quickly and maybe even get a little bit of fade. Whereas for someone like him, if he throws it flat, I imagine it's still gonna be a pretty big turnover, but on some hyzer, it might actually be a pretty nice little straight flying disc for him with a good enough amount of hyzer on it. So anyway, we're both gonna throw some backhands with it to kind of show you the difference between how it flies for different arm speeds and let you know what we think about it. All right, so I'm gonna throw a couple of backhands here, and let's see how they go. I don't know. This is gonna be my second time throwing it. Just to let you know, these are both in the 172 to 174 gram range, so it doesn't really make too much of a difference. I'm gonna try to throw this one nice and hard and flat. It does stay in the air a really long time, so that glide number seems pretty accurate. I threw that pretty flat, and you could see it definitely got some good drift right, but unlike the normal Neo Essence, where it probably would have just kept turning over for me, it actually kind of straightened out and even eventually faded out a little bit. So I'm gonna throw this next Zen, maybe try to put a little bit of ante on it. So that did exactly what I predicted it would do. It held the anhyzer the entire time, but for a lower arm speed player, what was kind of cool about it is while it held that line, it didn't just like dump and turn into some type of poopy cut roller that will often happen when you throw something understable flat and it just kind of becomes useless. That's a shot where if you maybe don't have a forehand, or you kind of want something that's going to straighten out at the end of its flight, it can be that turnover disc for you that is going to get back to flat, it is going to settle, and it's not just going to turn to some type of like little cut roller or something like that. So definitely a pretty good disc. All right, so went out there with the rangefinder. The first one that I threw flat and got the full flight, I actually got this out to 330 feet, which is pretty good for me for an 8-speed. This one didn't quite give it enough height, so it kind of just cut into the ground. So this was about 40 feet shorter, but still got the flight that I was looking for. If I would have given it a little bit more height, I think I could have got it similar distance with just a different line. So yeah, definitely that 6 glide shows on this disc.
All right, so I'm gonna try some backhands, throw them about 70-80% power like I would out on the course. I'm Throw one, let it hyzer flip, get a little turnover, and hopefully get a full flight out of it. And then I'll throw the other one kind of high and flatter and let it drift the whole way. Got the hyzer flip. Actually had a lot more stability to it than I thought it would. I'll throw this one with a touch less hyzer. That's more what I was looking for. All right, so the one that kind of stalled out that I threw a little too high, that one still pushed out to 390, whereas the one that I got the full flight that I was looking for got out to the 430 foot mark. So these things can definitely go a ways if you put a move on them. All right, so now I'm going to show you a couple of rollers to see, you know, a little bit more utility in the disc. So I'll try and put one out there pretty far for you.
I couldn't even zoom in anymore. That thing was going so far.
Yeah, that one ended up pretty well. I'll go see how far it went. All right, so measured the roller at 506 feet, which is actually really good for an 8-speed. Generally, you want the higher speed rollers to hold it more, but this thing, because of the plastic type, I think, it held the roller a little bit longer. So, you know, very useful disc if you're into throwing rollers. I like it. Like I said, I used to throw them, so, you know, love to see it.
All right, so one other thing about this Essence being in the metaplastic and making it a bit more stable is that I think it could actually low-key be kind of an option for some straighter forehands. So if you're someone who kind of struggles with forehands and you're trying to learn how to throw them, or if you just want something that you can kind of pop on like a little hyzer flip forehand and get a pretty straight flight, these actually do a pretty good job. They kind of remind me of like the old CD2s, which is kind of the dynasty now for infinite disc. Or something kind of along those lines. I'll try to show you what I'm talking about. I will admit my forehand has been a little off lately, but we're gonna see if we can get one going for you. Threw a little nose up and high, but you could see that on that hyzer it did flip up the flat, kind of pushed left a little bit, and then it just kind of drifted out like a normal forehand would. So definitely has that option. We'll try another one, see if I can do a little better. That's more what I was talking about. That one I put a little bit more pop on it, got that turn left, but then it straightened out, and so really a good option for a straight flying forehand. All right, yeah, so the first one that I kind of nosed up, stalled a little bit, I still got it right around probably 270. And then this one, I was actually able to get it right at 300 feet or maybe just slightly over 300 feet without that much effort on just a dead straight laser line forehand. So definitely a disc where you've seen between me and Mac, you can get a lot of value out of it, whether that be backhand or forehand. All right, folks, so after throwing the Zen 2 quite a bit now and getting to know it a lot better, I have to say the Meta Essence is a fantastic fairway driver. Each of us have already had experience with the stock Neo Essence, and I think that this disc is the perfect complement to that. If you think that the Neo Essence is maybe a little bit too understable, but you like the feel of it, or if you love your Neo Essence, but you just want a complement to it that's a little bit more stable, this is it right here. I mean, this disc had definitely the ability to have some good flip up for me on flat releases and even some slight hyzer releases, and I could throw it on controllable turnovers whenever I threw it flat with some good power. And as you saw, I could also use it for some straight forehands. So basically it's just versatile. I was able to get a lot of use out of it, and it had kind of some sneaky stability for an Essence. And now I'll kind of turn over to Matt to give his thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with what Dustin said, specifically in the versatile part of it. You can definitely work this thing however you want it to. It has a surprising amount of in-flight stability to it, which we especially saw in the roller that I threw, where it didn't actually turn over at all. It just kept holding straight until it eventually just lost speed entirely. So definitely a disc that I think really anyone can make use of. So yeah, go get you one. Give it a try. Support Nate Perkins. Always like supporting your favorite pros. So.
Indeed, thanks so much for tuning in. Again, follow up Mac, links down below. You can pick up one of these if you're in the Mobile area or don't mind traveling over here, over at Saraland Pharmacy, who help provide it. And as Mac said, it's a very versatile disc I think anyone can find some kind of use out of, and we definitely really liked it. So, catch you next time.
Later.